Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, my name is Ruchi and I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome back to a TBR video. We're going to be getting our TBR for the month of June and I'm very excited for it because it is my birthday month, so I'm hoping I get some good books that I get to read this month. Okay, so in the month of May, I only read 1 out of the 5 books that were on my TBR for the month, and I DNF'd one of the books that was on my TBR. I just couldn't get into it and it was a library book, so it's been returned. I did not do well with my monthly TBR, but I really want to actually stick to my monthly TBR this month. With that being said, I do have a new release that I'm very excited for and I'm hoping to get as soon as possible, which is My Friends by Frederick Buckman. Now that book I have been craving to read and I'm just like so excited to read it, and I've heard so many good things. I'm very excited for that book to come out. In Australia it doesn't come out until the 4th of June. This video might already be up by the time it's come out already, so I might already have the book with me by the time this video is up and I might be already reading it. But I'm very excited for that one to come out, and I've heard incredible things because it released a little bit earlier in the US and stuff. But June is my birthday month, so I'm really hoping I get some good reads, and we're going to be using my TBR jar, my trusty dusty, well it's not really dusty, but my trusty TBR jar that we're going to be using to pick some books. I'm going to be going through this shelf and this shelf to pick up the monthly TBR because those are kind of like on my radar at the moment to want to read. So let's get straight into it. We're going to be choosing 5 prompts, so there'll be 5 books on my June TBR. I want to do more, but clearly I don't have a good track record of actually like sticking to my TBR, so let's keep going with 5 and hopefully we tick off all 5 and then I can try and up the stakes. But let's pick our first prompt. Okay, let's see what this says. A book that has nature on the cover. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of a look-see. Does it have nature? That has birds on it, that has mountains on it. I already know what's calling out to me, and that is the X-Vows. As you can see, it's nature, it's a vineyard, there's grapes on the cover and stuff. That's clearly nature, so I think I'm gonna have to read the X-Vows. I'm so excited for this one. I've heard really good things. Also, Jessica Joyce has become one of my favorite authors. I loved You with a View, so I'm really keen to read this one, so I think this is going to be the first book on my TBR. That was actually very easy. All right, let's pick our second prompt. Okay, something just jumped out, which is book with hearts on the cover. So let's have a quick look, because I don't know what would have hearts on the cover. This could be a contender. There's a envelope with a heart on it. I think this is actually the only book that has a heart on the cover, unless I just can't see it, but I think this is gonna have to do, the heart on the envelope. This is P.S. I Hate You. I've heard really good things about this one too, and it's kind of like a grief love story. Well, not really a grief love story, but like it's interwoven. I think the FMC's brother passes away and she has to scatter his ashes, and she's tasked to do that with the brother's best friend. It says, in the splendidly bittersweet romantic comedy, enemies forced together by a mutual loss are led on a cross-country journey toward a second chance. So that sounds right up my alley. There's just something about a road trip love story blooming with grief intertwined. For some reason I just eat that up so much. Like that's kind of like what You with a View was about. I don't know, I really eat up stories like that. Like it just does something to me. Like the angst and the tension in those books will always get me. So I think this is going to be very similar in that sense, but yeah, they're spreading the brother's ashes and doing this cross-country kind of road trip. And yeah, and it says that he was also an infuriating man who broke Maddie's heart back when she was naive enough to give it to him. So they clearly have some history there. I am so excited to read this. That is the next book on my TBR. I realized I also didn't even say what X-Vows is about. Basically, this one follows Eli and Georgia, who are exes, and they come together for a best friend's wedding, but things are going wrong and they have to help get things back on track. And so whilst they're in that like close quarters after like 5 years of not seeing each other, I guess like feelings re-emerge, and she is kind of like also feeling like she doesn't want to ruin the friendship group that they have because of the breakup and stuff. So it's kind of giving Happy Place. That's kind of like the vibes that I've gotten from people who've read it. Now Happy Place is like one of my favorite books ever. It was one of the first books that brought me back into reading, so if this lives up to like the Happy Place hype and like the way that book made me feel, then we might have a 5-star on our hands. But anyway, that's kind of what the story is about. So those are the first 2 books on my TBR. Okay, let's see what the next book on my TBR is going to be. Okay, it is a book with 3 words in the title. So let's see. We've got The Paradise Problem, The Graham Effect, Terms and Conditions, The Love Hypothesis. Literally so many books have 3 words in the title because of the Gilded Cage, Our Infinite Fates, Scythe and Sparrow, Lost and Lassoed, oh my gosh, To Die For You, The Rule Book. Okay, there's so many options. I feel like this has given me free reign. Like, this is basically a choose whichever one that you actually want to read because there's just so many options. So I think I'm going to do, oh my god, what do I want to do? I literally don't know. Okay, I have 2 options for this one, which is Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage and The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I had both of these books on my TBR for the month of May, and I did not get to them, clearly, because I had a few other books that I was reading for videos and stuff. But I really do want to read either of them, and I feel like this is like the first like viral Ali Hazelwood book, and she's obviously come out with so many books since then. She just came out with a new book as well. So I really want to get to those books, but I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice by like not actually like reading her like OG work. And then with Lost and Lassoed, I get to finish this one and go on to Wild and Wrangled, which I've heard really good things about as well. And I don't know which one I want to do. You know what? I'm gonna ask Siri to choose 1 or 2. This is 1 and this is 2. So let's just get Siri to make the decision for me. Can you please choose between the number 1 and 2? 1. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but she chose number 1. So we're gonna be reading The Love Hypothesis. I am excited to read this. I've heard nothing but good things. Like, this is like the OG TikTok book, the OG Ali Hazelwood book. So this is the next book that's on my TBR. Lost and Lassoed, I will come back for you at some point. You guys probably already know what this one's about. I'm like one of the only people who hasn't read this Ali Hazelwood book, but this one follows Olive and Adam, and it says, when a fake relationship between scientists meets the irresistible force of attraction, it throws one woman's carefully calculated theories on love into chaos. It's a STEM romance, is kind of like all I can give you, and she is a PhD candidate and he is a young hotshot professor. So, but anyway, I'm gonna see what all the hype about this one is. All right, time to pick the 4th prompt. Let's see, hopefully we don't have any more jumpers. Okay, a book with an orange cover. Okay, we actually have a few options for this one. Let me just grab all of them. Okay, we've got a beautiful orange stack here. One of the options is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. Now, this book I actually have started reading. Like, I started reading this a while ago and I just wasn't in the right headspace for it, so I did like soft DNF it. But I've heard really good things about like the series and just Kennedy Ryan's writing in general, and I feel like in the headspace I'm in now, I would probably enjoy this like a lot more. So that can be one contender. I know this follows Josiah and Yasmin, who were married, and things happened in their marriage, or like something kind of tore them apart, and so they're kind of getting, I don't know if they're getting a divorce, but they're like separated and co-parenting, and they're kind of like finding their way back to each other, but still actually dealing with what caused like the relationship to fade away and like what caused the relationship to break, essentially. I really do want to read this, but we'll see if this is fitting the vibe for what I'm wanting. The next book I have is Rootbound by Tara Dewitt. So I've never read anything by Tara Dewitt, but I have this and Funny Feelings on my shelf, so I do want to read her work because I've heard pretty good things, and like she's just a fun small town romance author. So I don't really know what this is about. Follows Tate, who despite her world-shattering divorce and being estranged from her family, she's happy and has rebuilt herself through her dream career in photography. And then she's contracted to do an assignment in her family home, Logan Range, and she's not really planning to get to know her family again because they've not really built a relationship with her. There is a cowboy, so it's a cowboy romance, and he has dedicated his life to the Logan family and their ranch. He owes them for raising him, rescuing him, and giving him purpose. They have a bit of a rough start because Tate is coming back and she's estranged from her family, not very close with them, whereas Henry, who was the cowboy, he like owes everything to the family, and so he's very protective of them, and so they kind of have a thing going on. They just get to know each other in like family secrets. That does sound kind of fun, so maybe, I'm not sure. The next one is The Summer Will Be Different. I really do want to read this, but I feel like I would enjoy it more when it's actually summer. I don't really know. Okay, this one follows Lucy and Felix, who met on vacation in Prince Edward Island. Then she discovered his true identity as her best friend's brother, and their electric night should have become a distant memory. Like a summer romance, love story, best friend's brother, that kind of trope. I feel like I'd enjoy this so much better if I was reading this in the summer, and it's like winter in Australia. So I think I'm gonna put this aside for this option. And the next one I have is Wild Eyes, which is part of the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. See, I've only read, is it called Wild Love? Where have I missed for? I've only read Wild Love by Elsie Silver in this series. I haven't really continued the series. I don't really know why, but I feel like they're quite chunky for like romances. And I think they're all meant to be single dads in like this series. I'm not too sure, but it's like set in the same world as Chestnut Springs. And this one says it's a rugged mountain town seemed like the perfect escape from a life in shambles until she ran into the world's hottest single dad. Oh, I remember this one. I think the FMC is actually like a pop star. Oh, she's a country singer. With a recent streak of bad press, it's hard for Skylar Stone to find any peace. But she finds it in Rose Hill with a little boy and a little girl who steal her heart just as thoroughly as their dad, Weston Belmont. Okay, that sounds kind of interesting. And I feel like with Elsie Silver, like her writing just like is so quick to read. You just like zoom through her book. So I feel like, I don't know, I have like so many good options. Like out of these three, what do I want to read? I literally have no clue. I think I'm gonna have to do Wild Eyes. I've been wanting, like, I'm itching for like an Elsie Silver kind of book, so I think this is the one that I'm gonna read. I've heard like kind of mixed things about this series. Like it's not as good as Chestnut Springs is kind of the theme that I'm hearing, but I want to read this and see how I feel about it. I did enjoy Wild Love. I thought it was really, really good, and it was like a long time ago when I read it, to be honest. So I think this is the next book on my TBR, and I'll see how I go with this. We've got the last and final prompt to pick out now. Okay, let's see what it says. Okay, we're gonna be doing a random letter generator. I am so excited. That is so good. Wait, can I just ask Siri to do it? Would Siri do it? Hey Siri, can you please give me a random letter? She's just not helping, so I'm just gonna go onto a random website. I'm gonna generate a random letter now. C. What do I have that starts with C? I don't think I have any book that starts with C, so let's just do another random letter. P. What do I have with P? Okay, I'm gonna do one more letter and hopefully it gives me a letter that I can go off with. Okay, L. Okay, we have 3 options for this one. First one is called Love Me Do. Don't really know what this one is about. Okay, this one's a bit of a sweet little romance between a girl and her neighbor. Greeting cards copywriter Phoebe Chapman knows a good romantic line or two, and it makes her a fantastic cupid. So when she lands in the Hollywood Hills, she can't resist playing matchmaker for her handsome neighbor, carpenter Ren. But you can't hide from love in La La Land, and isn't there something a little bit hot about Ren, her own leading man next door? Sounds like it would be a fun time, but it feels like I should read this in like summertime. I don't know. It's just giving like summer vibes with that cover. Emily Henry also mentioned that she'll read anything Lindsay Kelk writes. Oh, I don't know if I'm feeling this right now, so I think I'm gonna have to put this one back. Another option is Lost and Lassoed, so I could put that back on my TBR for the month of June and have 2 books that I had in May also in June, so could be an option, And another one that I have is Love Interest by Claire Gilmore. Now this is a workplace romance, so I don't know, I'm not feeling it, guys. You already probably realized what I was gonna go for. I'm gonna put Lost and Lassoed onto my TBR again for the month of June. Sue me if you want, sue me, but this is the one that I'm gonna be reading. I'm really excited for this series, as you know, and it's like Lila Sage's writing is just very similar to Elsie Silver's, whereas like you could just read a whole book in a day. Like it's just very addictive, and you kind of just like love seeing all the characters and like the town. Like the small town aspect is really good, and I've heard really good things about her writing of how it like has improved from like Done and Dusted to now. Like she's just improved a lot with every book, so I'm really excited to read this. So I think this one is what it's going to be, and this one follows Teddy and Gus. Teddy is Gus's little sister's best friend, and they both have like a bit of this like weird hatred to each other, but they probably had like some sort of romantic encounter or like a night together or something, but ever since then they've just like hated each other, and she steps up to nanny Gus's daughter and help him out because he's a single dad. So I'm pretty sure that's how like the story happens, and she just helps out because she loves the little girl but she doesn't love the dad. So yeah, they're in close quarters and spend a lot of time together. It's kind of giving Heartless vibes, but Heartless is a little bit different in terms of like the relationship and stuff. But I'm keen to read this, so I think this is the next book on my TBR. With that being said, I've now picked the 5 books that are going to be on my monthly TBR for June. I'm so excited to read all of these, and I really hope I get to them. Like, I need to get to them essentially. Like, there is no more excuses. I'm done playing games with my TBR. I'm gonna actually stick to it. Let's do a quick fire rapid roundup of all the books that are on my TBR. Starting off with The X-Files. This one's by Jessica Joyce. Then we have P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly. And then we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. And then Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. And then Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is a really fun stack. I'm very excited to get to all of these, especially like X-Files. I just feel like I'm actually really happy with this stack. Like, I'm really intrigued by all of them, and I really want to be able to get to them. So this is my monthly TBR for the month of June, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have stuck around this long, thank you so much. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you don't miss any videos that I post and get the notifications and everything. So that's kind of it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!